Welcome to Cooking at the College. I'm Chef Patrick Fletcher, and today's episode is all about steak. Stick around and I'll show you how to prepare steakhouse recipes in the convenience of your home. Welcome back to the kitchens at West Kentucky Community and Technical College. I've worked in restaurants all around the United States, and one thing that has remained consistent is the amount of steaks we sold. Now, I don't care where you are in the United States, whether it be an Italian restaurant or one that's primarily seafood, they're going to have a steak on the menu, and it's going to be one of the top sellers. I can guarantee it. Today, we're going to be cooking with the Terrace Major, which is one of the little-known steak cuts unless you're working in the industry. The Terrace Major is a muscle from the shoulder here, and it's also sometimes called the shoulder tenderloin. Now, when cooked correctly, it can taste somewhat similar to a filet mignon. But with that said, let's go ahead and start our sides, because our sides are going to take a lot longer than the steaks will. Now, when you hear meat, the one thing that's consistent with meat is potatoes. I've already went ahead and peeled some Idaho potatoes. We've got them in some salted water, and those are boiling. When they finish, we'll add a little bit of blue cheese as well as horseradish. Two flavors that will complement the steak nicely. Another flavor that complements beef quite well is mushrooms. And I don't care which steakhouse you go to, whichever one's your favorite, some type of sauteed mushroom dish will be on the menu. For today's, we're going to do burgundy mushrooms. Now, I love to cook with wine, and sometimes it even makes it into the recipe. But we'll go ahead and start these very simple. We'll take a couple tablespoons of butter. And I've just got ordinary button mushrooms. Once that butter starts to melt, we'll go ahead and add these in. And when those begin to take on a little bit of color, which will just be a couple of minutes, we'll add a little bit of chopped shallot and then our burgundy wine. Meanwhile, another staple is creamed spinach. Creamed spinach is a nice and elegant dish. For our creamed spinach, we're going to start with a roux. A roux is equal parts flour and fat. I'm sure you've cooked with one already. A lot of times Grandma had the bacon grease sitting next to the stove, added that in with a little bit of flour and milk, and she had gravy. So we'll start with a little bit of butter. Once that begins to melt and soften up a little bit, we'll add our flour to begin our roux. And I did say equal parts, but you can kind of eyeball it. One of my rules of thumb, you want it to look a little bit like wet sand. And when you've got that consistency, your roux will be just fine. And you can kind of see, we're starting to look like sand here. I don't know if that's appetizing, but we're starting to look like sand. Easy way to remember it. Now to our roux, a little bit of fresh garlic. Not looking to get any color, just to kind of get it in there, get it coated. Here's a little bit of chopped shallots. Same thing, we don't need any color on these shallots. Just get them coated, you'll start to smell them, that's fine, that's ready. Heavy cream. And what a roux does, it's going to add a little bit of flavor, and it's also going to be our thickener. We're just incorporating everything together right now. This is one you can leave alone, but it's important to stir it every few minutes. That flour can settle to the bottom. All right, I like the way that looks. Now we're going to add some of the chopped spinach. Now this is just frozen chopped spinach that we've thawed out. We'll stir that around until we get a nice mixture. I think that'll be plenty. And we'll just let this do its thing. Now when we come back, I'll show you another spinach recipe that you've got to stick around for. Welcome back. Our mushrooms have taken on a nice color. We're going to go ahead and add a little bit of the chopped shallot. A little bit more. And now we can hit it with the good stuff, our burgundy wine. Almost covering the mushrooms. I'm going to go ahead and scrape the bottom. We're deglazing a little bit. And then just like the spinach, this is one that you can let go for a few minutes. And this one you really don't have to worry about coming back and stirring. It's got all that wine in there, all that liquid. It's going to reduce down on its own and get some great flavors. Now a lot of chefs say that a meal is not complete without a sauce. And I'm one of those. So let's go ahead and start our first sauce today. And this is one that everybody needs in their repertoire. This is a basic cream sauce. And once you just can get a basic cream sauce down, whatever flavor you want to add to it, it's all the same process and it'll turn out nicely. I'm sticking with the mushroom theme. We've got portobellos here. I've just taken the stem off. We're going to get rid of the gills. The gills trap a little bit of dirt, and they're also going to put a darker color on our cream sauce. And for a nice cream sauce, you want it as white and pretty as can be. We've cleaned that. We'll cut it in half here and do some thin slices. And now we'll add that to our butter. And just like the burgundy mushrooms, we're looking to render it down a little bit, just a medium-low heat. Let them get a little bit of color. Mushrooms are having fun in their wine. All right, we'll add a little bit of shallots once again. I like shallots, and shallots are in your groceries now. They're a real they're not mad, they're a real mild member of the onion family. And they add a nice delicate flavor. It's not in-your-face onion flavor. And I'm going to go ahead and lightly season that with just a little bit of salt. And we'll hit it with the heavy cream again. Now the wonderful thing about cream sauces, like I said, you get a flavoring agent. In our case it was the mushrooms. You add the cream. It does all the work itself. You want to keep it real low because it will boil over when you turn your back. So once this cream reduces, it'll thicken and it'll intensify those flavors, and we'll have a nice sauce to finish our beef with. Now to that spinach side that I was telling you about earlier. This is one of my favorites. We're going to do some spinach cakes. We'll take some of that chopped spinach. Add 1 egg. A little bit of our salt. A hint of nutmeg for one of those flavors that'll leave your guests saying, "Oh, what is that?" A nice bit of Parmesan cheese. And some breadcrumbs. I'm using panko breadcrumbs. It's a real nicely cut breadcrumb, and they're showing up in your local grocery also. Used to be you never could find them unless you talk to your friends at the restaurant. Cracked pepper. And jump on in there. Nope, we almost forgot a little bit of shallot. Shallot's been our friend today. It's showing up in several of our dishes. Now, once it forms a cake, you know it's ready. You know that it's going to turn out fine. So what will happen here is we might have to add a little bit more breadcrumbs. It feels a little bit moist to me. A good way to check is go ahead and get it and start trying to patty it out like you would a crab cake. And it is. It's just a little bit loose there. So a little bit more bread to bind. Oh, now we're talking. And it just feels different in your hand. It's coming together. And we've got a nice little cake. We'll smash that down a little bit more. I'll give it one more toss in the breadcrumbs to give it some of that outside crust. And those should turn out nicely. Now to sauce number 2. Sauce number 2, we're going to make a compound butter. Now I know that sounds pretty complex, but compound butters are simply adding one ingredient to butter. So, for instance, it could be lemon, it could be garlic. In our case, we're going to do a garlic and chive butter. And this is going to be nice on top of the steak, melting down. Now, I like unsalted butter. Unsalted butter puts you in control of the amount of salt added. We'll get that in. I'm going to go ahead and get that spinning, get it softened up. You do want to bring this to room temperature before you add it in, otherwise it's going to take a while. All right, we're looking nice there. I'll go ahead and add a little bit of salt. A little bit of the garlic. Now, it doesn't take much when working with fresh garlic, and I do recommend. And finally, our chives. And give that a quick spin. And like I said, have fun with this. If you just want garlic, go garlic. If you want a lemon butter to go with seafood, just put a little bit of fresh lemon in there. Simple, easy. A lot of steakhouses, that's why their steaks are tasting so good, because they'll hit it with a little butter right when it comes off the grill. And if it's not sold as a compound butter steak, you know, they're still hitting it with butter. And that's why you wonder, man, these are so good. All right. Once we've got it nice and fluffy, you can lay it down. If you don't have parchment paper, a little bit of plastic wrap will work just fine. Get your spatula, and we'll just put it right here in the middle. The purpose of this is because we'll be able to get nice slices once we finish rolling it up here. So I've folded it over. I'm just simply evening it out now. And then I'm going to continue rolling. And at the end, we treat it like our favorite candy. Do a quick spin to it. This will go in the refrigerator. I'll pull it out a few minutes right before the steaks come off. Cut off a pat, top my steak, and you'll have another wonderful sauce. Welcome back. Now we're going to get to what everybody's been waiting for, our beef. Now what's going to happen here, and this is on a lot of different cuts of meat, this is on pork, this is all silver skin, this shiny area here. If you do not remove this, it's going to eat like a rubber band. It's not going to be a nice thing. Simply get under there just a little bit and just slide your knife along, trying to remove as little meat as you can. Very simple with a sharp knife. A little bit more on the opposite end here. Now some of this little bit of fat here, I don't care if that stays or not. It's not going to do anything but add a little bit of flavor. All right. And we've got one more over here. That one's nicely cleaned up. A lot of times you'll find this on a menu. It'll just be under bistro medallions, bistro steak. And that's kind of what we're going to do today. As you can see, the Terrace Majors don't get very large, so we're going to cut out medallions. Finish this last side here. We just about got that one in one swoop. And finally, now I'm going to clean up the ends here so we get some pretty looking medallions. You don't have to do this at home. It's a little bit of a waste, but it'll make for a very pretty plate presentation. Now medallions, think a couple bites. Flip them over. And that's what we want to do when we want to go to cook them. We want to get them to where they look like these little mini fillets. Make sure they go down on that side. A little bit of olive oil. And keep it simple with your steaks. Some nice salt. And some of the cracked pepper. And once these go into the pan and on the grill, we'll go ahead and hit the other side also. And I'm showing you there's two ways. A lot of people, they live and die by the grill, but pan-searing meat is equally as tasty. You'll get some nice caramelization. You'll have a little bit of that crust. One of my favorites. Key is, wait till that pan is smoking. And I don't know if you can pick it up or not, but we are at the smoking pan here. What happens is, if it does not get to its smoking point, the juices will kind of leach out and it'll essentially just be boiling in its own juices. So when you have a pan this hot, you're going to get that color we're talking about. Now we season that side. And don't peek. Don't peek or you're going to lose that color. We'll go ahead and let those go a little bit as we move down here to the grill, and I'll place 3 more on. We've got a live one there today. Season. Now, a quick rule of thumb. I know everybody tells you, oh, 2 minutes to get, 2 minutes on each side to get mid-rare, 4 minutes on each side for medium. A quick test is the hand test. Holding your hand loosely like this, rare. Go with your pointer, mid-rare. Middle finger, medium, medium well, and well. What happens is this tenses up, and see, now that I'm at well, there's no spring back whatsoever. At rare, nice and soft. So that's when you know. You've got to learn just to kind of cook by feel. Oh yes, there's that color and that crust that I was talking about. These are going to be beautiful. Back to our grilled medallions. Let that go just a little bit longer and get that flip. What a lot of restaurants will do is mark their steaks, as in getting color, or marking them by getting a grill mark, and then finishing in the oven. That way it's not sitting there over the open flame. And we can bring it up to whatever temperature we want to on there. Go ahead and flip these. And I tell you what, we'll save a little space and they'll join our friends in the pan here. If it's you at your house cleaning up your mess, you got to find ways to use less. All right. And to finish up our sides, we'll go ahead and add our spinach cakes to enough oil to cover the bottom here. It's a shallow fry, but they don't need to be submerged. And this will be one of those when they take on that nice golden color, we'll flip. Down the line to our cream spinach. I like to finish a lot of dishes with fresh lemon. It's a flavor enhancer, gives it a little something extra. Looking good. Our cream sauce is a great consistency, and our mushrooms have absorbed a lot of that wine. Okay, we'll check our spinach cakes for color here. There's a little bit of that golden crust. Those will continue cooking and turn out great. All right, and finally, the mashed potatoes that we started towards the beginning of the show. We've drained them off. I like to go ahead and break them up first. We'll slow her back down. Go ahead and get a little chunk of butter in there. Some salt. And just kind of for looks, a little bit of white pepper. Now this is completely up to you. I like a solid white, creamy mashed potato. If you like to see those black flakes, it's okay. But we're gonna do it the secret way. Pepper's there, but you can't tell. A little bit of our blue cheese. And you gotta know this is good. A lot of the steakhouses will have blue cheese that you can top your steaks with. So we're gonna go ahead and have it right there in the mashed potato. A little bit of horseradish just for some zing. And finally, a little bit of the heavy cream. You can use milk, whichever you prefer. All right, we're going to be in good shape there. And now for the big finale. we'll go ahead and pull our steaks out that we're finishing in the oven. Oh, yes. Spinach cakes, we'll dot on the towel real quick. Those are going to be our base. We'll go ahead and do our pan-seared ones. And finish with a little bit of the portobello cream. A nice, luxurious dish. And finally, some of the mashed potatoes. We'll top those with our medallions. Surround them by some of those wonderful burgundy mushrooms. And then finally, a little bit of that compound butter. Last but not least, our creamed spinach. And the best part about it, you spend about half the money going out to your favorite steakhouse. That's all for today. Join me next episode and see what's cooking at the college next.